Hello, everybody. Today in the house we have Arnaldo Lizarraga, and he is a father, he is a husband, and he's also a neuroencoding specialist. Thank you for being here, Arnaldo.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So
Thank you,
please
Paula.
share with us what inspired you to become a neuroencoding specialist.
What inspired me to become is one of those things that I always like to learn. I end up, reading self-help books here and there. I end up, doing in UPW, Unleashed Power Within. Uh, and then I came across, Joseph, and then all these stuff's coming in, and then I saw the brain revolution. So I was very intrigued to find out, how we think, and I've been reading it and everything. So I thought it would be a great courses to take or to learn, and that I could use too for other people. So that got me started to actually curious to actually do it, and become one. Once I actually saw that, the funny thing is, when I did all the self-help and I read about coaching, I wasn't like inspired to be a coach. I wasn't like, you know what, this is everybody's trying to be a coach and this and that. And all of a sudden, when I became a neuroencoding specialist, all of a sudden it just hit me like, now all of a sudden I want to be a coach. It was like, wow, I
Felt the
could change
calling.
people's life and help them out to use the strategies and how to think. I kind of had it in a way. I just understood it how I worked it. So that inspired me to become a neuroencoding. I end up being without knowing that I end up being.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so I'm glad I did. I made that choice and I went through the courses.
That's good. So please share with us how have you used that information to create change, in people's life or your family?
So I've used those techniques, which it helps a lot. It is very it has helped myself first. In order to change people's life, I think we have to change ourselves first. We got to start with ourselves. I've used it on myself, which has done great things. I've helped my wife with it, just to learn how to connect and listen to her, listen to my kids, and how can I help them guide rather than me trying to change them. So it was one of those things that when I had my children's and having a relationship with somebody, you're always trying to change them for you in a way. And you
Yes.
just come to a relationship, you're like, you know what? I want to change. There's something wrong with them, or even with your kids or whatever. It's not me who's something wrong with it. But that's actually what changed myself in order to change others. So I realized that it wasn't them. It could start with me. And using those things that I learned, I've been changing them, but it just takes me to change, and they see my change. Then they start changing. And then I'm
Yes.
using those things that I do for my changes and using for them. So I really even my daughter is trying to help kids in her school. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
using the same
But
strategies and
exactly,
techniques.
bullies or whatever, she come and ask, and so is getting,
Mhm,
bullied or
that's
kicked. And
priceless.
yeah, and we have taken the step to actually hear her out first, and then what would be the best option to us to help her out rather than us making the decision for her. So yeah, it's been great just to actually have those techniques that I've learned in order to help them out, to them figure it out rather than us figure out for them.
Yeah, and
So
I'm sorry. I
go ahead.
I'm totally connecting with this subject right now that you're sharing about, our children, because it helped me too. It helped me to become a better mom, as in
Yeah,
I have to love them for who they are, you
exactly.
know. And before this is like, no, I was trying to mold them because I had, a mold already ready of how they should behave, how they should be, how they should act, and how they should, think.
Exactly.
And I was so wrong. And now that you mention it, it's like I went through the same. It's like I had to, stop and then analyze that. I was programmed a certain way, and now
Hmm.
I'm trying to reprogram myself, like to find my authenticity. So it's like, why should I do? Why would I do that to my kids? It's like, no, let them. I can guide them and give them choices of how it could be, but let them decide and develop their own, authenticity at an early age. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. And that's exactly, I think you said it well right there, because that's how we were conditioned. We
Yeah,
just
and it was
parenting
out
just
of
the same way
fear.
as the parenting. And it's not nothing, I hear it all the time, which I understand. It's not that they did something wrong, it's just that they didn't know.
Yeah,
And
they
they
didn't
did their
know.
best they could. Exactly. And we're
Yes.
doing best we could. So yeah, and now understanding it kind of like opens, the sky opens
Yeah,
for you, and you're like, okay, I understand it now. Why I feel
there's
this
less
way.
fear. There's less
Exactly.
fear. I feel like
Less fear.
I fear less because of it,
Exactly.
because of the content that we learn. I fear less
Exactly.
as a mom, and I can, you know, they'll be fine, that
Exactly. That'll be
yes.
fine. And,
Yeah. And
and we'll all be fine. You know what I mean? It's yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yes. So thanks for bringing that up, because like, yeah, I'm glad that you've seen that as a parent as well.
Exactly. No, and I use it for other people, friends of mine and coworkers, which I've seen heard it from other people too, saying like, "Oh, I never thought it that way," or just getting connected, and you still learn a lot. And then, like lately, I've been working next to a person that I didn't like, and it's not like I didn't like. I just like everybody, but it's something that it was annoying.
Connection.
It's just like, wow, this guy is always in a bad mood or always saying something sarcastic way. And then all of a sudden I started working with him, and he started connecting. Now I'm finding reasons why he feels a certain way. And now you kind of like, you kind of empathize, like, wow, you kind of like, wow, I understand why he comes this way about him. You kind of like goes into the root and know what the root of the issue, why it comes about. And he has been telling me all these stories since he was a little boy to like right now. So you kind of understand, and you kind of like, and then it opens the door. You start connecting, and that's what it is. It's connecting rather than just restricting
Trust,
out
building
yourself.
that trust.
It's building that trust. Exactly.
It's good. So, what is your outcome? Whenever you're coaching someone, what do you have a special like outcome that you focus on?
My outcome will be, there she goes.
Hi,
my
baby.
Say hi. That's my 10-year-old.
Hi, beautiful. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. Good. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Ariana.
Ariana. Ooh, beautiful name, Ariana. That's beautiful.
So yeah, so my outcome of help, it's just the outcome is just to change the perspective, to give them another option. You know what I mean? It's not like you actually make the decisions for that individual, that they feel them. Yeah, I mean, like myself, there were points that you just feel that you can't go nowhere. There's only one option. There's no other options. There's always not other way you could see yourself, putting yourself into. You always have to, that this is it, and I cannot go nowhere else. I cannot see nothing else. So it's actually finding other options and open that mind, so they could have other choices, so they don't feel like this is the only choice, I stuck in here. So that's my outcome, to just open those choices for them, rather than just thinking that there's no other solutions. You know what I mean? It's the worst case scenario is always, and the saddest thing is people just go, and it's even, that you hear now is suicide, even on younger kids.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that's the only so that's the reason they could get themselves into. And to get into that place, it's not like it was overnight. It was because of lacking of choices. So
Yeah.
that's my outcome, to actually give them the wide variety of choices that they
I
know
love
how
it.
to do.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love it because sometimes when we're stressed, when we're dealing with a very bad situation, we only focus on that and we just cannot see
exactly.
around or above or below.
Exactly.
We're just focused on that. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's good. That is like, no, there's other ways that you can look at the problem. So
Exactly.
on that situation, that's good. So who can benefit from your coaching style? Do you focus only on like a gender, age, group of people?
I don't know gender, not age. Only people who I could say people who, once again, people who feel stuck. There's no genders. I mean, if I heard it from the last interviews that you guys had, that you had, it's been I've been always connected. I think it was Stanley who said it, like always connected with women, even when I was a younger age. And it kind of like it reminded me, probably Stanley's gonna hear this. I heard his, and it's like, what? Wait a minute. I was always guiding, because a woman's mature a lot earlier. Then when you read that, and kind of like I connected that way to help them out.
Mhm.
I always got that connection. The guy just, it's just a simple, yes or no or whatever. So, but it's anybody, any gender, anybody who feels stuck. Now I feel, between parents to even younger kids, and no younger kids. I'm talking about more like teenagers. That would be a good scenario. I haven't really defined my niche, but it's getting there. It's getting to finding that niche and who I need to help, because it's going to evolve. So
Yeah. I mean, right now it's like anybody that is coachable. So
exactly,
yeah,
anybody that is
anybody
coachable.
that can feel like I can trust him, or I'm willing to give him an hour of my time and see what happens.
Exactly, because you want results too. Not only you want to see them, having results. You don't want to keep what's it called, trying to basically look them for them and where they at or whatever. It's just whoever is willing to be coached. Yeah.
Yeah, anybody that's willing to be coachable. Good. So what are some of the strategies and techniques that you kind of like to use in your coaching practice?
First, like I like to connect. You know what I mean? Just asking those quality questions. That's my first go to find a rapport. That they trust you. Find a rapport and get into their rhythm. You know what I mean? Into their being. That has helped me a lot. Catching all that stuff. That my first technique is how I build rapport first. And it's funny, that's the thing I've been doing. Not as well as learning like the techniques, like they're more precise, which I was like, wow, it is just being nice it helps a lot. But if actually you get into a point of actually being in tune with that person by their voices, their body language and stuff like that, it helps a lot. So that's the first technique that I use. After that, I start stacking of where their issues is at, to find someone still feel the pain that they're going through. I've used that a lot. And all of a sudden, use the pattern interrupt. But sometimes I go exaggerations of my pattern interrupt. You know what I mean? It could be just like do you want to end up like this? So, and stuff like that. It's not bad of it. I don't know. But usually, yeah, it helps. They just get lost, and all of a sudden, I guide them or start asking those questions to get out the pain and to feel the pressure with the direction that they want to go to. And that's what I've been doing with, like I said, friends, co-workers, and people that I get to know in that moment. It's funny. There was, I said it to one of my coachings. I made because I have a coach too. One of the things is I met a person that started learning these strategies, and then from there, and I started using it, even people that I don't know. And you start connecting, and you start hearing the story and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I started asking the questions, and all of a sudden, don't you think he's thinking this way because of this and that? And then she goes and stop, and then she includes something else, kind of like, yeah, that's why they doing this and that. And I was like, never thought it that way. Goes back into that when they say it, never thought it that way. Wow, I realizing that, and then they get connected to that emotion that they felt. It's like, wow, they open us the door. So now with that person, they could be more at ease, or or connect more to whatever. If there's a brother or the sister, because they could be like, my brother is like this. Why is he like that all the time? I don't like that. And then you start hearing the story, and then you start connecting. Goes, oh well, I didn't thought it that way.
Oh yeah, you gave them a different angle.
Exactly, angle. My brother is acting this way because he's actually trying to get my attention. I probably asking for help rather than getting me annoying and feeling me that I'm not good enough, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that's good. That's good whenever they begin to see
Exactly
the other angle of the situation. They're like, well,
exactly.
then maybe it's
And
not
it's funny
bad.
when you see their faces. You're
Yes.
like, ding.
Yeah. Now you ran a marathon, right?
Yes.
How long ago?
I did it in September. Mid of September.
So did you use some of the strategies and techniques on yourself as you were running the marathon?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And then one of them, I think I said it, and one of them was the pattern interrupt. There was they always told me, like, I always heard, like, when you get it up to the 20 miles, which is, a marathon is 26.2. So right when you get in to the 20 mile, that's when people start feeling it. And that's when I felt it. Like I was at a good pace through the whole time. And all of a sudden at 20 miles, it hit me. Like, I was getting tired. My muscles were starting getting pain. I was trying to figure out how to run. And all of a sudden, I started running, and there was people around me. And then all of a sudden there was this guy who all of a sudden say, hey, what the hell are we doing here? He said it with the F word, what the hell, what I'm doing here, whose idea was to sign up for this? And at that time, I was like, at that point, I was thinking the same way, like, what am I doing here for? And and I was using the pattern interest to myself, and in order for me to keep going. Let's finish it, being determined. I was telling myself that you just snap out of it. Let's be determined, to the outcome, to the goal. And when he said that, he brought me to a lower level, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, as a matter of fact, I did that pattern interrupt, and all of a sudden, automatically feeling that low, it picked me up, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna think about this. And boom, I just wanted to stay away from it. And I don't want to hear whatever they had to say anymore. So I actually helped me around, that pattern interrupt that he did. I looked that pain. I started looking for pleasure. I started looking for that. After that, I kept having I had the anchor. I started thinking before I started doing the run that how the finish is going to look. How my finish I had it in my mind, what position I was gonna be. I'm gonna be smiling, and they always tell me I always smiling. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be smiling. I'm gonna have my hands up right when I'm crossing, and I had that in my mind. So the whole time when I was in the hardest part of the whole thing, that's the only thing that I had myself is the image. And it's funny, when I got into the point when I saw the finish line, I picked up my pace, and I got so happy because that image was coming in, and I was like, it was a goal, not the image is here, and my wife had the story that when she was waiting for me in the finish line, there was people who were literally crawling, they had their heads down, they just didn't have enough, they were low energy and stuff like that. And I'm coming in like fast.
Here I go.
Yeah, I run it fast, and then my hands are up right on the picture and smiling. And it's funny that was the image that I had. You know what I
That's
mean? It was like, and it got stuck. It's like, it's true, you know, and all of a sudden in my head, I'm thinking like, this is true. You actually could. And I use that in life right now. Like every little thing, anything that I feel that I cannot overcome at this point, physically, even physically, like I get home, finish my work. My wife started working for the past 10 years. My oldest, she's basically she's been a stay-at-home mom, and you know, and feeling that, what else can I do, you know? And then she found a job. She got a job, and she's doing a coach parenting, as a matter of fact, with a
good.
school that they're creating this system with coach parenting, which they coach the parent and they have the kids going to school.
That's
So it's the
amazing.
whole, yeah. So this is a school that they develop here, and it could be a little stressful. They ask for a lot, but I come home and I cook. You know what I mean? I'm cooking. We have those boxes that come in with already with ingredients, and you just have to cook it. That's all you have to do. I've been great doing it because it's easy. So
Follow the
I come in and
instructions.
yeah. And I even feel like I'm tired, but I just keep anchoring. You know, I keep panic interrupt. And my body just gets into this flow. And then if I could get a run, I get a run, or I do whatever I need to do. But I keep myself, you know, and sometimes it doesn't go well that way I schedule it, but I just keep pushing myself. It has helped me a lot.
Good. That's good. Well, we have to, because those, automatic negative thoughts just come into our head.
Exactly.
They
That's easy to
welcome
feel.
themselves, and
Exactly.
then
Yeah,
we have to deal with them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's good. That's good. So where can we find you?
Where can I don't have, so there's a I don't have a website yet for my, and then which I have the landing page. I mean, they could find me at Facebook/ with my name, Arnaldo. That's
Okay.
where I have that's my address on Facebook. They could find me there. Something that I didn't even mention, I'm also a DJ. Actually,
Oh, wow. I
yeah,
didn't know
I'm
that.
actually, yeah.
Oh, hang on then. Last Saturday, were you at that event on Zoom? Were you at the virtual event on Saturday?
Yes, I was when I
Oh,
was in
oh,
DJ.
yeah, you were a DJ. I saw you. You were jumping like a frog. You were so excited. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
seen you and I was like, oh my gosh.
You know what the
It
funny
was
thing,
the
when I
energy.
go, exactly, when I go to events and I start jumping, I start smiling, and a lot of people mention that, and I was like, that they get energy out of that.
Yeah, I was like, I know that guy. Okay. I started dancing too. So wow, so you're a DJ, and do you work on the weekends or just whenever they need you?
Sometimes on the weekends, I do something a week. As a matter of fact, I have a party coming up in November. I did slow down when they were younger. I just want to be part more in, and all of a sudden it just picked up again after doing all of this. And something that I love is music. That's another. I've used music to, I mean, that's my motivation. Let's say that's always been my motivation. Music has been. So it has helped me even my younger age to actually be radio and all that stuff for a while, and doing events and stuff like that, which has been great. And that's something that they could find me too. I got a website, which they could find is Happy 2.0. That's my name was DJ Happy. They always call me Happy. So I just used the DJ after that when I was younger, back in 2000, in the mid 90s, in 2000.
Okay.
So yeah, so those are the places that I
Okay,
could find.
awesome.
Yeah, I just like to, I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, I just like, it's always been like, I like to make people happy. And that's what's been my nature. And one of the things that I saw was in music too. So that's why I became a DJ, because I like music, and I start seeing people having a joyful time, and actually tuning out whatever, coping with whatever they're going through in their life, you know?
Well, good. No, I mean, I can tell that you enjoy music just by watching you last Saturday. I'm like, I know him. I know him. Oh, well, good. Well, before you go, please share with us two things. First, what book has added the most value into your life?
So I mean, there's a lot of books that I've read. I started reading actually when they were born. I started reading books because it was something that I call I hated reading books. Uh, in high school, I hate reading books. I something that, and all of a sudden I picked up one book and it was about financial, because I was like, I felt like I was stuck in financial. You know what I mean? I was like, is it gonna always be like this? And all of a sudden I picked up that book and it was like, wow, there's a lot of strategies that you can learn and do and stuff like that. After that, it went to self-help and all that stuff. But one of the books that actually that just hit me really hard was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggin. It Can't Hurt Me by David Goggin. And he used to be a big, heavy guy in his early 20s. He became a Navy SEAL. And he used pattern interrupt in a way that just take action. Simple as, if for me to run a marathon was like, just go running. And I wasn't even expecting to run a marathon. I started running. And after that, it became like 2 miles, 3 miles, 4, 5 miles. And all of a sudden, I think I could run a marathon. And I want to do it. And I had him back in my mind. So one of those things that still stuck in my head is when I get fascinated, like, let's say, Tony Robbins and all these people who actually strategize and they think about this and they go excellent. But I get so, I like, they say stories are everything, no? And story moves everything. There's the Bible and stuff like that. Everything's stories. But I like the people who makes it so simple. Like, what the hell are you doing? If you want to do this, go ahead and do it. I was at that, there was another event and the guy was like, hey, I just did that, got up and I started climbing a mountain.
You like the tough love, right? Every once in a while, we need the tough love.
And I get so motivated by it. I don't know why. When I read a book, then they tell you their story. I mean, I could have gone, we all have a story. We all have some kind of why me? Why did this happen to me? We all have that, even with our parents, uncles, or whatever the case may be, not to bring everybody down. But then you hear all those stories that they go dark, then wow, if I went through that, I don't think I would have came out. But all of a sudden they say, you know what, I just picked up my stuff and did what I needed to do. And if it didn't work, I was still going to keep trying. And all of a sudden, like, wow, that's simple. And then they just make it that simple. And it's like, I like that. I like the simplicity of it at the same time. So that book, I liked it because it gives you to the dark and how all of a sudden changes. And his stories is amazing. I mean, the searching of men too. And, it's just one of those things that the pattern
I've seen the book. I've seen it. I'm going to have to buy it.
Yeah.
Okay, before you go, what message would you leave our audience today? Like, what's something that you want to share that they should be doing?
I mean, that we all have a story. I looked at my note, it goes, that we're all a special person, that we all have a story. I think more than ever, I feel healthy and more in abundance than I did ever before. And that I look at people different than I ever looked at. And that they're all special. We all have a story. We always have a story to tell. And fascinating. I mean, that no worry where you at in your life, there's always, you could change it, and once again, don't feel like you're alone. It is the worst scenario that you could, that there's always somebody else to want to help you. You just got to ask. Yeah. And that's another thing that I heard, ask. And I haven't had that problem, but I've seen in other people that I go and ask, is they're going to be okay and stuff like that. So just ask. Sometimes there's a lot of people who wants to help. And I went through life having people, myself. And I want to tell a little story that just hit me right now. So I was an only child. I was born in Venezuela. I came when I was 11 years old to the US in San Francisco area. And it was just only me and my mom. And that goes, that's funny, you know, that simplicity, you know, you get on the plane, you come back and it changes your life, you know. I came when I was 11, 12 years old. And all of a sudden I still live with my mom she don't live with me, but she's living in the area. So one of the things that makes me think is like, there was a lot of people that I miss my family as a kid, because I that's my first 10 years. My cousins that I played with and everything, they're all gone. But I learned that there are people who's willing to help you when you're going through a tough time, even by yourself. I mean, there have been family being named family, and they're not really blood family. So it's one of those things that hit me. Like, don't think that you're by yourself. Just ask. There's always people to help. Always people to help. You just gotta ask.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing your story. I mean, your stories. Thanks for being here tonight, right after work.
Yeah, no, that, and you know what? I thought about it today, and you gave me that heads up, and I was like, it's like, and your mind goes, oh, do I have time? Do I don't? And you know what I mean? Your mind goes, once again, it goes into like that like, should I do? And I just do it now. I just, that just talk to me like, okay, I tell my girls, oh, I'm gonna be on a call and stuff like that. So yeah, no, thank you for inviting me.
No, you're very welcome. I mean, it's my honor.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad that I took the action, and you got me in here, so I could, I could present it. I gotta do this more.
Yes. Next time we'll talk about a book or something else. But
okay.
I mean, thank you very much. Thank you, audience, everybody that is here listening to us. We appreciate you. Blessings to you all, and take care.